we didn't even really get into the Drake slander. We'll do
Oh,
but no, Shay, you can make your point about Drake, and then we'll try.
Okay. Do you know what it is? It's not even like a slander thing. Drake is somebody that has this generation by his throat. I don't think his brand or his music justifies the rate at which this generation is unhealthy obsessed with this man. I feel like Drake makes good music. I cannot even, like I said earlier, if I said anything contrary to that, I'd be lying. That would just be a lie. However, I don't see the hype. I don't think I'll ever see the hype. I think Drake, okay, so no, I mean, we're about to wrap up, so I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, no, I think Drake slander is healthy. I think that sometimes, no, because it actually doesn't make sense. Like, when was his 10v10? I can't remember who was up against.
Was it Drake versus Kanye?
I can't remember. Anyway, no, he didn't. No, it was I think it was Rick Ross 10v10, and all they were playing with Drake features. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. Can we get a break? Like, I don't know. I just think
his features were amazing.
Oh wait, I'm not denying it.
That's why they played them. Like, some of the songs are the ones that Drake has.
I'm sorry, but my agenda must run. My agenda must run. Agenda over facts. Can we just say? Anyway. But yeah, no, Drake slander is healthy. I think we should have it a lot more, especially in music discussions, because I'm sorry, like, the hype is just not there.
Yeah, to be honest, everyone knows I have like a love-hate relationship with Drake, because I love his music at times, but I hate everything else. And I would say I agree with you, because for me, I think Drake raps about himself, and the reason it's done so well is because we have an unhealthy obsession with his life. And it's an interesting question as well, because in 50 years' time, when our kids don't care about Drake's life, will they care about him?
Oh, wait. No, I have to step in. I don't think it's him.
Just because you look like Drake, innit?
Let me, because I don't think it's just that, though. I don't think it's just that. If you wanna like, because we can still put it in negative terms here, but he raps from a very narcissistic perspective, which a lot of people identify with. Okay. A lot of people have the same sort of thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like people like, no one really wants to hear that much about someone else's life. I don't think that's what it is with Drake. I think it's like that sort of
see themselves in him, because
that sort of like those narcissistic qualities. A lot of people deep down have some of those qualities. So I think it's more that than listening to his life.
That's a very good point.
But I think he stopped doing that as well lately. I think he did that very well in his early career. I think now it's kind of like, it's just like,
I was just too slander music in Arabic, bro.
Yeah. But just quickly on Shay's point about like he's very overhyped, which he is, and like obviously he's blown up more than probably what he deserves in terms of his ability and all the rest of it, but don't you feel, like the people that are really like hardcore Drake fans, the people who are like, live and die Drake, like that's my guy, there are certain types of people who I personally don't look at them as like proper music people. Like, I'm not even like the most knowledgeable music person, but I know enough to not be like, to put Drake on some pedestal. And I feel like the people who do generally are not as well versed in sort of like whether it be like hip hop or R&B or music, like general that sort of like genre of music and relatable genres. I don't really see like the true music fans really putting Drake on that pedestal like that. So for me, the people that do sort of like rep Drake like that are the people who, I don't want to call it lazy, but they're just people who don't look into music as enough, and they just see the main guy who's on the radio all the time, he's on TV all the time, whatever, and they're just like, oh yeah, his music sounds cool. He's obviously
I would say that's the case with a lot of them, but I do definitely know people that are like music, like I could bring them on the show and we could have a 2-3 hour discussion about music, like they know music, that stand by Drake being the best
Really?
about everything. Yeah, my barber, every time I get a trim, my barber will put my ear off about Drake. And I just, because obviously he's got the fate of my trim in his hands, so I have to just nod. But, and I do hear, he's got a lot of good points, and I do hear his thing, because Drake has effectively been on the top of rap for close to a decade, which is something that no one else has really done in the same way that Drake has. So I understand the accolades and stuff, but I'm but listening to the music in particular, especially from 2016 onwards, it's you can't say that he's still performing at that level that he was when he was. I say prime Drake is when he was doing the Edgware Road thing, with smoking shisha, everything. That's prime Drake.
That's one thing I forgot to mention. He's a vulture. Give it a rest.
He is.
You know this.
But do you know what? Do you not think? I feel like Drake has remained on top because he's a chameleon. It's let's give him a new animal, or reptile, because this guy makes tracks according to what is popping now. So of course he can be on top. When we wanted a bit of a little dance hall swing there, he was. Can you see him with Popcorn right now? They're on mixtape together. Drake knows what he's doing. Drake is a bit. You see this brain up there? It's not even a businessman. You see Drake's brain? He's a businessman, and that's why he remains on top, because he knows Wagwan. Yeah, no, but that's... and he remains on top globally, as in he pricks himself in all the countries he wants to be in. So he's got his twist and turn with Popcorn. He then has his freestyle with Heady One. He's letting the people know, you're not gonna forget me. I'm gonna be here. Yeah. So I think that's why he remains on top, because it's not as if he's still making music the same way he made back in the days. He's now making whatever sells Drake vibes that will keep him there, and I respect that, because I told you, again,
the music industry is a business, and he's just. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's one of those people that just know the business.
It's I think you can. How much? You have to divorce the business aspect from the music aspect if you're talking about legendary. You can only the business aspect you can obviously applaud it and everything, but you have to hold it to a certain extent. Music has to. Well, I mean, in my opinion, the music has to supersede that.
Yeah. And do you think it does?
You were the one who said that he was legendary.
He's a legend. He's a legend because of what he's done. But I'm saying
that. Think about it. When you talk about legends, no one's trying to sit down and be like, oh yeah, but then the music aspect. When you talk about legends, you're just trying to talk about who's made the most impact. You're trying to talk about who's made the most.
You can't deny his impact. He's a legend. I'm not gonna say that. I don't put him in GOAT conversations. He barely touches my top 10 of all time. Hip hop, not just all time artists. Hip hop, he barely touches my top 10. I put him top 20, and he could sort of scrape into the top 10. But there's artists that I feel especially for an artist of Drake's caliber and size, he hasn't really spoken about anything. He hasn't spoken on anything that is of substance. Really.
You don't have to speak on anything.
You don't have to.
We need to divorce that idea from music. Doesn't have to be political.
If you want to be in the GOAT conversations, you have to. The same way, if you want to be in a GOAT conversation in basketball, you have to win a ring. Even if you're Allen Iverson, best player on the team, everything, and everybody, the reason you didn't win a ring is because of the people that are around you. Or Charles Barkley, where MJ is the reason he didn't win a ring. You can't be in the GOAT conversation because you don't have a ring. I'm sorry, bro.
Sorry, Andy, quickly, can I just confirm, is J. Cole in your GOAT conversation?
No.
Okay, cool, thank you. Curtis, is J. Cole in your GOAT conversation?
Fair enough.
We can't be putting Drake over J. Cole.
No.
Just confirming we're all on the same wavelength.
I do like J. Cole.
I'm a big fan, but he's not he's not in the greatest.
Yeah, GOAT is
of all time.
That's the greatest of all
But
time.
I think that's do you know what a good point that was made is what if you just are making music for vibes? I feel because in black music particularly is always so political. What if you're just making vibes? Why can't you get to legendary status on just vibes? I feel that's what a lot of the new legends are doing anyway.
We have to get serious at some point.
Yeah, people don't appreciate
that. But not in music though. You don't have to get serious in music.
To me, if you want to be on that level, you can make a tune that makes people think and makes people
true. Well, you can be a politician, if you wanna. You don't have to.
It can still be vibes, but that's the thing, because you wouldn't say Bob Marley's a politician, but he still did it. There's something.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. That's completely fine that he did that. But it doesn't have to be like that. That's what I'm saying.
I feel
from that to a higher extent, because it's he can do that and still give us this. Do you know
But
what I mean?
how can you put that to a higher extent musically? Because it's not related to music. It's related to a message.
I
Do
agree.
you know what it is? At the end of the day, like
I agree.
what actually impacts people is just basic psychology. How do you make them feel? So the reason with Drake is I wouldn't say it's just vibes. I would say things like Take Care, that sort of thing. That made people feel shit. And that is why people will hang on to Drake. No matter what he puts out, that album, people will hang on to Drake and they will put him in GOAT conversations because it made them feel shit. It was the soundtrack for a lot of us, you know, coming of age, first heartbreak type vibes. And that's what people will remember. People won't remember what you say, what you did,
Some
but they
people
remember
need
how
to
you
get
made
over
them
that
feel.
though. Some people need
No.
to get over. One of my boys,
Yeah.
he holds
Yeah.
it. He holds it that Views is a classic because he cried to redemption because he was going through it with his girl. Bro, come on, man. You don't even talk to that
That's
kind
a
of
bit
people.
mad.
But still,
Listen, man, you can't attack someone for how the music made them feel, is it? Like,
It's true.
let
It's
that guy live his life.
subjective.
It is very
I
subjective.
think, do you know what I'm deep in these music conversations, that often we have the expectation for an artist to be an activist, because even when it came to the Burna Boy thing, it's like, babe, do you know what's happening politically right now? And it's the USA that you wanted to run to, and it's this type, these are the tracks you wanted to bring out. But I'm deep in this life. You know what? If you're an artist and you just came into the music for vibes, I can't be mad at you. It's me. I expected too much of you. It's me.
Yeah.
So when Drake wants to
ones
chat
that
about
just vibe
gyal and heartbreak, it's okay.
But do you think the ones that are just
Yeah,
vibing can be held to the same level as those that can also just vibe and
Not at all.
Are you talking
I-
about
yeah,
like
I
all
think
this?
so.
If it's about music, I can't basically say that, oh, because A is an activist and you're doing just vibes, because me sometimes I want to just shuck up myself. I
was
don't
gonna
want to
say
get
sometimes
deep.
no one's trying to go to the club and hear, oh, that's a lie. Never mind. That's a big lie. I was gonna say no one's trying to go to the club and hear first things first, rest in peace, but that's a big fucking lie because I would like to hear
That's
that
true.
song. But you know, some of J. Cole's songs, and I think he does deserve the respect he gets for creating music that makes people think different. I would say that I would listen to J. Cole song, I'd be like, oh shit, like okay. But I'm sorry, like it's okay to make skirt, you know, like kind of music. Like I'm trying to go to the club and I'm trying to hear nonsense. I don't want to think about my life, kind of thing. And similar to what Keanna said, I think there's that unnecessary. There is that overwhelming rather pressure that we put on artists to create music that we want to hear, which is none of their business. They create music that they like, you know. And yeah, I think that's a valid point.
You might be right. Yeah, maybe I put too high expectations in it. But
Where would you put someone like Notorious B.I.G. Because he didn't really have a message. Because my thing is with rap, yeah.
That guy's a lyrical genius.
That's my thing with rap. If we're talking rap, then surely we should be talking about the way people put words together, the stories they can, rather than like that they have to have.
Are we having
certain type of message?
Are we having a best MC discussion or best hip hop artist, like the artistry as well?
No. If we're talking best MC and best hip hop artists are not too far away. If you want to talk best lyricist, that's a different conversation.
Oh, sorry.
But then there's people that are above.
When you talk about putting words together, that's when we talk about lyricism.
Lyrically, I would Notorious be unmatched. I would say near unmatched. I think
I can throw some names in there that
something
you can match, but
no, something. Do you know what it is? I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and we were saying that sort of like the Tupac and Biggie sort of discussions. Again, I will probably get dragged for this, but a lot of them are fueled by nostalgia. When people don't live up to their potential or what they could have, I think we tend to put, like, for example, compared to like MJ, he actually had a good run. So when he passed, unfortunately, we could look back and be like, okay, but with Tupac and Biggie, I feel like, people hang on to what could have been. And I think that just basically blurs a lot of the valid discussions that could be had with those two. However, I can objectively say that Biggie is a lyrical genius. I will not dispute that at all.
I agree.
We've had that discussion. Like I said, had Lil Wayne died, like God forbid that. Imagine if he died in 2011 after his run when he was at the peak of that. He'd be in the same discussions with Tupac, Biggie, etc. So sometimes that's why I kind of take them out when I'm discussing them, because firstly I wasn't around when they were at their peak, so I was always looking back. And secondly, I think the discussions are never objective, because it's I mean, obviously music is subjective, but it's always got a level of nostalgia.